In the last few days, Ghana and Israel, two countries with a long, complicated, and often warm diplomatic relationship, have found themselves at the center of an unexpected storm. What began as a routine trip for Ghanaian travelers suddenly erupted into a tense diplomatic exchange that has captured the attention of Africa, the Middle East, and the global diplomatic community. Ghana was actually the first African country south of the Sahara to establish diplomatic relations with Israel back in the late 1950s under Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. The early years were full of cooperation, especially in agriculture, security training, technology, and trade. However, after the 1973 Arab-Israeli War, Ghana, like many African nations, froze relations with Israel. It wasn't until 1994 that ties were fully restored. Since then, both countries have generally maintained friendly relations, often describing each other as valuable partners. For years, Ghanaians have freely travelled to Israel for tourism, agriculture training, and religious pilgrimages, while Israelis have come to Ghana for business and development cooperation. So, when the current crisis began, many people were surprised that the tension rose so quickly. The spark came when several Ghanaian travellers, including staffs of Ghana's parliament, arrived at Ben Gurion International Airport for an international conference. According to Ghana's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, some travellers were detained for long hours, others were interrogated harshly, and some were deported without clear explanation. The ministry called the treatment inhumane, traumatic, and completely unacceptable. Israel, on the other hand, initially suggested there were procedural issues involving the Ghanaian embassy, a claim Ghana strongly rejected as false. The entire event felt sudden, unexplained, and unusually aggressive, especially given the long-standing ties between the two nations. Ghana's government acted quickly. The Israeli Chargé d'Affaires in Accra was summoned, a strong protest letter was issued, and Ghana warned that reciprocal action could follow if Israel did not address the matter immediately. Within days, Ghana followed through. On arrival at Kotoka International Airport, 3 Israeli nationals were deported, mirroring the treatment Ghanaian citizens had faced in Israel. Both countries publicly insist they want to de-escalate, but the tension is real, and neither side seems ready to back down completely. To understand why this incident may have occurred, it helps to look at the bigger picture, especially Ghana's recent more vocal position on events in the Middle East. Just a few weeks ago, President John Dramani Mahama addressed the United Nations General Assembly, where he openly criticized the ongoing humanitarian situation in Palestine, especially in Gaza. In his speech, he called for an immediate end to civilian suffering, urged the world to protect innocent lives, and emphasized Ghana's long-standing support for peace and justice in the region. The tone of his speech was firm but compassionate, and it clearly expressed Ghana's position that no population should endure such hardship, regardless of global politics. This speech received attention globally, including in Israel. Shortly after the UN speech, Ghana made a humanitarian donation to support civilians affected by the conflict in war-ravaged Gaza. The aid was meant to support hospitals, provide food relief, assist displaced families, and show solidarity with innocent victims of the conflict. For many countries, such humanitarian support is normal. But in the context of global Middle Eastern politics, such gestures can easily be interpreted, fairly or unfairly, as a political signal. And Israel undoubtedly noticed. While Israel has not officially stated that Ghana's recent political positions played a role, many analysts believe the timing is too close to be ignored. Here are the factors some observers point to. 1. Mahama's UN condemnation of the humanitarian situation in Gaza. 2. Ghana's humanitarian aid to the Palestinians. 3. Global sensitivity around countries expressing strong views, on the Israel-Palestine conflict. 4. A growing global pattern of nations reacting sharply to perceived diplomatic shifts. In diplomacy, countries rarely say outright, "We did this because you did that." But they often send signals, sometimes aggressively, sometimes subtly. The harsh treatment of Ghanaian travellers may have been Israel's way of expressing displeasure or signalling its concern about Ghana's recent public positions. Ghana's strong retaliatory deportations, meanwhile, showed that Accra is unwilling to be intimidated or disrespected, no matter how powerful the other nation is. As of now, both countries have expressed desire to de-escalate peacefully. Diplomatic channels remain open, but trust has clearly been shaken, and the global community is watching closely. This dispute is not likely to turn into a long-term crisis, but it does reveal how fragile diplomacy can be, especially when global tensions are high. The Ghana-Israel tension is more than just an airport dispute. It is a small window into the complex world of international diplomacy, the weight of humanitarian statements, the impact of global conflicts on unrelated nations, and Ghana's growing confidence on the world stage. What happens next will depend on how both countries handle the next few days. But one thing is clear: Ghana is becoming a nation whose voice is heard, respected, and noticed internationally.